Okay, today we're going to look at why do we have a federal system in the United States. So you're going to now brainstorm the powers of the principal, the powers of teachers, and the powers that they both share. Check your answers with the answers on the screen and add in anything that you've missed. In general, what you'll see is that the teachers have powers, particularly in the classroom, whereas the principal has powers throughout the whole school. They both share powers in the sense they both make rules for different areas. If you had to guess who had more power, you probably have guessed the principal, and that would be correct. Similar, we have the principal is like the federal government, and the teachers are like the states, whereas the federal government has more power than the states.
So the United States is comprised of 50 states, and the states have the authority to write laws, as do local governments. But so does the federal government. So let's look at how they share their power. So federalism is when there is sharing of power between the federal and state governments. So each have specific powers, some overlap, and some are different. Sometimes it's known that both of these are, in fact, but different agents and trustees of the people constituted with different powers. And this is what James Madison said in Federalist Paper number 46. What Madison meant by this was that the people retain the power. We, the citizens of the United States, have the power, and there are different ways we can have that power supported by the state or by the federal government. So, for example, the federal government has exclusive powers such as the ability to declare war and to buy the weapons, to buy the materials, and to pay for the soldiers. Only Congress in the federal government has the ability to write laws to spend the money or the U.S. currency. States cannot do this. What states can do is deal with things such as education and the New York State Regents exam. They can also create driver's license and the age at which you can drive in the state. Both levels of government are able to tax. So the relationships between the states and federal government are not always harmonious. The issue of slavery caused a strong division between the federal and state governments. Additionally, the issue of segregation based on race after the Civil War also created lots of conflict between the states and the federal government. Issues with workers and labor rights over the last 200 years have caused tons of conflict between the states and the federal government. And currently, states and the federal government have low-level conflict over the issue of marijuana, whether it should be legal or illegal.
So when you look at the different powers of the federal and the state government, anytime there is a conflict between states, the federal government has the authority to deal with that. Anytime there is a conflict with foreign nations, the federal government would deal with that. Anytime it deals with coining of money or war, the federal government would deal with that. In many other instances, states retain or reserve their powers over themselves.